personal. Compliments were exchanged. Smiles met smiles. The audience laughed at the right moments, reacting to familiar charm and gentle humor. On the surface, everything unfolded exactly as planned, but beneath the table, Julia's foot shifted once, then again. A subtle movement, heel lifting and lowering against the floor. As the conversation drifted through early topics, career reflections, light anecdotes, carefully chosen memories, the cameras caught fleeting details. Julia's fingers interlaced, then separated. Her thumb pressed against her index finger, hard enough to blanch the skin. Her laughter came a half beat late, arriving after the punchline rather than with it. Whoopi noticed. She didn't react outwardly. She had spent a lifetime reading rooms without announcing it. Instead, her gaze lingered a fraction longer each time Julia spoke, watching not just the words but the pauses between them. Watching the way Julia's eyes sometimes dropped to the table before she answered, as if checking herself. The studio air felt thicker now. Even the audience seemed to sense it, their reactions growing quieter, less spontaneous. A cough echoed from the back row, too loud in the momentary silence between sentences. Somewhere off camera, a headset crackled with low, urgent whispers. The conversation edged closer to personal territory. Not confrontational, not yet, but nearer to places where opinions lived rather than anecdotes. Julia's posture stiffened subtly. Her shoulders squared, her smile tightening just enough to lose its softness. Whoopi asked a question, simple on the surface, open-ended, the kind designed to invite reflection. Julia answered, her voice smooth, but something underneath it shifted. A faint strain threaded through her words, barely audible but unmistakable to anyone listening closely. As she finished speaking, she inhaled sharply, then exhaled through her nose, eyes fixed on the table as if it were suddenly more interesting than the faces around her. The cameras held steady. The red live light burned on. For a heartbeat, no one spoke. The silence wasn't long, 2 seconds, maybe 3, but it stretched, heavy and deliberate. In that pause, the audience leaned forward without realizing it. A producer raised a hand behind the cameras, then lowered it again. Julia finally looked up. Her gaze met Whoopi's, and this time neither woman smiled. The moment passed without comment. Conversation resumed. Laughter returned, though thinner now, less certain. But something irreversible had already begun. A quiet shift, a pressure change in the room that could not be undone. And as the cameras rolled on, capturing every breath, every blink, every tightening jaw, the studio held its collective breath, unaware that the calm they were clinging to was already slipping away. The shift did not announce itself with raised voices or sudden gestures. It crept in quietly, like a change in weather pressure that only the body notices before the mind does. What had been conversational rhythm began to falter. Sentences overlapped by accident. Laughter arrived late or not at all. The audience, once relaxed, now sat with backs straighter, hands folded more tightly, unsure why their instincts were urging caution. Whoopi leaned back slightly in her chair, one arm resting along the table's edge. Her face remained composed, but her eyes sharpened, tracking Julia with a focus that felt heavier than any interruption. Years of live television had taught her this exact moment, the one where control still existed, but only barely. Julia spoke again, responding to a follow-up question that drifted closer to values than memories. Her words were careful, arranged like glassware set too close together. Every syllable sounded intentional, yet her jaw tightened between phrases.